السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens Surah Al-Insan with a question, a rhetorical question. Has there not been a time where humans were non-existent? This means, was there not a time when the concept of a human or the word human was unknown? If you were to ask an angel what a human was, they'd say, we have no idea, we have never heard of this before. At one point of time, each and every one of us was non-existent. And we have a beginning. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala follows this up by saying, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِن نُطْفَةٍ أَمْشَاجٍ نَبْتَلِيهِ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we are the ones who created. He is the one who created human beings. And He guided the human. He made in the human being the ability to distinguish and to choose. إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. Either a person of shukr or a person of kufr. And the wording is so beautiful. Essentially, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is that some people will choose belief and some people will choose disbelief. But look at the words He chooses. Look at the words, إِمَّا شَاكِرًا. Either grateful. A person, in order to be a believer, they must be grateful. Or else they cannot be a believer. It won't work. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاشْكُرُوا لِلَّهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. Be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you truly worship Him. وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. Thank me and do not disbelieve. There's something about gratitude that's essential to our faith. Or we can choose the path of rejection. And the word kufr, linguistically, means to cover. It means to cover. That's why a farmer is called a kafir. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used this once in Surah Al-Hadid. أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتُهُ. So a farmer, the one who covers up the seeds, crops the land, plows it, and then covers up the dirt so that the plants can grow, or the seeds can grow. Someone who is grateful is enjoying what they have. They are recognizing it. They are not suppressing it. Whereas the kafir is someone who is suppressing it. They're bottling it up. And when you look at this from perhaps an emotional perspective, when a person is grateful, so they have studies about this. When you are happy for someone, for a blessing that they have, the person who is happy for that other person feels the same type of happiness that person feels. And this is quite amazing. So when a person is enjoying a blessing that they have, they feel happiness. And a person who's happy for that person feels the same type of happiness, even though they don't have that blessing. A believer is someone who recognizes their blessing, and as a result, they feel happiness. They feel a sense of freedom. They feel a sense of belonging, identity. This is for me. Allah gave it to me. And Allah gave it to me for a reason. There's a purpose behind it. And now that there's a purpose behind it, there's a vision, there's a goal. And that goal is something that we live by. It stays with us until the end of our lives. So no matter what our situation is, whether we're wealthy or poor, whether we're black or white, whether we are young or old, the vision is the same. The goal is the same. We are not people who, once we retire, we're sitting on the couch, I am so bored. What's there to do? No, the goal is still there. We are not people who lose hope. Why? Because paradise doesn't disappear. It doesn't go away. No one can take that away from you. So a believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we created the human being and gave them the choice to be grateful or to reject. and disbelieve and be ungrateful. The choice is in our hands. It's there. We have to act upon it. And when our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by choice, now you can see how gratitude, the feeling of happiness, and disbelief, suppressing, bottling those emotions, bottling those realities, come to play. Why Allah chose these two words. When we choose to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it creates a relationship much different than when we are forced to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels are a pure being, a pure creation, a pure species. But they don't have the choice except to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't have the choice to disobey. Now compare that to us as human beings. We can choose to come here, or we can choose to stay home. The relationship, the dynamics are now different. They're more unique, more precious, deeper. I have the ability to choose to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you find this manifest itself in all of our acts of worship. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If the most beloved person were to tell us to prostrate for them, if a parent were to tell us, prostrate before me, if a spouse or a child, would we ever do it? Absolutely not. If the most beloved person to us told us, do not eat or drink from sunrise or from Fajr until Maghrib for one day, what are we going to do once that person is gone? We're going to drink. Yet when it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if someone offers us, hey, drink, let's go ahead and drink, no one sees you, we would be offended. When it comes to prostrating for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it comes so naturally. You see how the emotions, the dynamics of this relationship come into play, how they manifest themselves. Imma shakira wa imma kafura. Either people of gratitude, people whose emotions drive their behavior to recognize what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us and therefore prostrate to Him and fast for His cause, for Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or we reject that and suppress it, thus suppressing our emotions, limiting our ability, limiting our uniqueness as a creation. Imma shakira wa imma kafura. And one more element to this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, it's in your hands. You control it. No one controls your lives. You know, sometimes people are very upset, they feel oppressed, they feel confined. Why? Because they feel like their lives are out of their hands. Yet here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the most important aspect of your life, your relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is completely and entirely your choice. No one can affect that. Who can come between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Who can come between you and paradise? No matter how powerful of a king, they can never prevent you from entering paradise. It's not in their hands. Who can affect that relationship? It's in your hands. You control your lives. No one else. And that's why the Quran is so amazing. Having a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so amazing. And it's so critical for us as human beings. We would not feel happiness, or we would be limited in our feeling of happiness if we lost this. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the end of Ramadan. The choice is in your hands. Isha prayer, Fajr prayer, all these prayers continue outside of Ramadan. The relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues outside of Ramadan. But it's about being someone who is grateful or someone who rejects. The choice is in our hands, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us make the right choice. We have a few announcements, inshallah, in terms of